So Nintendo announced the Nintendo Switch OLED model, and the internet's angry. Welcome back, my friends, to another video here on the channel. Today, want to talk about the Nintendo Switch OLED model because I think there's a lot of confusion around, who this console is for, what's the purpose, what is it. I think a lot of people are maybe looking at it from the wrong perspective, the wrong angle, and I just want to try to give some reasonable thoughts in this video. So if you are new to the channel, do variety of Nintendo based content. We're gonna be streaming Skyward Sword soon. That's I'm hyped for that. So anyway, stick around if you're into that. But first, Nintendo Switch OLED model. Okay, so people are getting mad because this is not exactly what they expected or we're hoping for, right? Which I get it. We any Nintendo fan, whether hardcore or casual or whatever, would have loved, more of a substantial upgrade, right? We would have loved if the rumors were true about 4K capabilities, 4K Breath of the Wild, 4K Mario, 4K Pokemon. That would have been amazing, or anything more powerful. That would have been cool, sure. Given, but I think the way people are looking at this console is the way that it was rumored to be. It was rumored to be a Nintendo Switch Pro. And that the idea behind that is that, while it was going to be an upgrade, this is not meant to be an upgrade. It's meant to be an option in the Nintendo Switch family. That is very crucial to keep in mind. That's what I'm saying. If you look at this from the perspective of, oh, this was supposed to be an upgrade, then of course you're going to be disappointed because it's not much of an upgrade, per se. If you look at this as this is another option in the Nintendo Switch family, then you're looking at it at the right perspective, right? You're going to understand what the purpose of this thing is for, and how it kind of fits in the Nintendo Switch family of consoles. So I want to give you guys an example with the 3DS, right? We originally had the DS, then we had the DS, what was it? The DSi, I think, was next, right? And wasn't there like a DSi Lite or whatever after that? And then anyways, eventually they came out with the 3DS. So we had the base model 3DS, and then eventually they came out with the new 3DS like 4 years later. The new 3DS, technically, yes, it was a little bit more powerful. But the idea that I'm trying to convey here is that there ended up being 4 different models simultaneously sold. There was the new 3DS, which was kind of like the smaller one, the new 3DS XL. There was the 2DS, like the slab looking one, and there was the what was it called? The new 2DS or whatever, or the 2DS XL or whatever. I can't remember the exact name. The thing was like the 2DS XL or whatever. So there's 4 different versions of that console family sold simultaneously at the exact same time. When they did come out with the new 3DS, the idea was, there was some enhancements, right? They had face tracking, cameras to, better the 3D and whatnot in the console. They added a little like C-stick on the top right, or well, I guess it's the bottom, but the top right of the bottom half of the console. There's a few capabilities. Obviously, they did also add a better CPU, but that was mainly because a lot of 3DS games were chugging at that point. It was, it was hard to run some of the games they were trying to run, and they wanted to get more life out of the 3DS, and they needed to upgrade the chipset, the CPU at that point, if they were going to, extend the life duration. We're not really there yet with the Switch. Nintendo has spoken about the fact they want the Nintendo Switch to go on a little bit longer than previous home console cycles or whatever. And if that's the case, then we might get to a point where they come out with kind of like a new Nintendo Switch model that does have a little bit more powerful capabilities to kind of, extend that life cycle before coming out with the next Nintendo console. That's a possibility. We still could get a Nintendo Switch Pro or an upgraded Switch at some point. But the OLED model is not that. The OLED model at this point is just an option to sit within the family, like the 3DS. If you wanted just a normal kind of more pocket size new 3DS, you got this just normal new 3DS. If you wanted a bigger screen, you got the XL. If you wanted kind of the slab looking one, that was marketed more towards kids because you couldn't really break it as easily. You couldn't just snap the top screen off because it was all just like flat like a slab. But then there was the 2DS XL, which was marketed, if you want the 3DS kind of console without the 3D capabilities, so it's a little bit, you know, cheaper price point. That's an option too. So there were different options at different price points for different people within the 3DS family. And I think that's exactly the way we should be looking at this OLED model. It's not meant to be an upgrade, and people should not be looking at it as an upgrade. Yes, it would have been cool to get an upgraded Switch, for sure. That would be cool. But Nintendo doesn't have to have super powerful hardware. Nintendo has always been about the experience, and they've proven that that's worked very well with the Nintendo Switch so far. People have been buying the Nintendo Switch like crazy. It's an extremely popular console. It's a unique console. The only console that you can go from playing on your TV and then picking it up and switching over into handheld mode and bringing it with you wherever you want to go. You know, taking the controllers off and snapping them back on. Like, it's super unique. This is what Nintendo does. They create unique, fun experiences. They're not about the most crazy, most powerful hardware in the world. They're about the fun experiences. And let me give you an example, right? Some of the most popular fun games are not even graphically impressive. Look at Minecraft, for example. One of the biggest games, if not the biggest games of all time, because it's just super fun. It doesn't have to look graphically insane, right? They have, obviously, they're coming out with the RTX stuff, which looks really cool. But people have been playing Minecraft for years upon years upon years now, and no one's complained really, because it's just a fun experience. That's all Nintendo's about, a fun experience. The Nintendo Switch has been doing fine. They don't need a more powerful console yet, and the OLED model is not that. The OLED model is an option. It's kind of like, if you want a Nintendo Switch with a nicer looking screen, the OLED screens are more vivid, you know, they're more vibrant, and you also have a better speakers, better audio built into the console itself. So for when you are playing in handheld mode without headphones or whatever. Also has a better kickstand, because the kickstand on the current Switch is not very good. It's a little flimsy. It works, but it's, you know, it's not great. This kickstand is wide. It extends across the whole back of the Switch. It's adjustable. These are all, you know, great kind of enhancements. So if you want something that's, you know, a little bit better in that sense, you know, it has kind of different experience in some sense, right? It's still the base. The base is still the same. Then the OLED is an option, and it's only $50 more than the normal Nintendo Switch, which makes sense because OLED technology is pricey. So $50 more, you're getting an OLED screen, you're getting better speakers, better kickstand, and whatnot. The dock is going to be sold separately, so if you do want to buy a dock that has a built-in Ethernet port, you can do that. But you can also just buy the Ethernet adapter, which I have. You know, it's officially released from Nintendo, officially licensed and released from Nintendo. So that's an option too. It's probably cheaper than buying a whole new dock, but you know, maybe if you're buying a second dock or whatever, that's an option. You know, if you want built-in. Or if you're just buying a brand new Switch, if you've never bought a Switch, you're looking at the Switch. Oh, you know, for $50 more, I can get the OLED model. You know, it has the Ethernet, you know, built into the dock. Which, yes, I agree, the original dock should have had, but you know, what can you do? You know, it has a better kickstand, has better audio built in, like better speakers built into the actual console, the unit, and handheld. Then for $50 more, if that's justifies $50 more, you can get that one. If not, if you don't really care, you know, if you're going to play it mostly in docked anyways, then just get the normal Switch. It's just, there's options for different people. It's like the Nintendo Switch Lite, right? The Nintendo Switch Lite, technically, if you wanted to speak technically, it was a step backwards. Obviously, that's not what it is, because that's not what it's meant to be. But if you wanted to be technical, you can say, oh, it's a step backwards. You can't even plug it into a dock. What's the point? Well, the point of the Nintendo Switch Lite is because it's a compact, smaller handheld unit. It's at a cheaper price point. It's more pocket sized than the normal Switch. Yeah, I can bring my normal Switch on the go. It doesn't fit in my pocket. The Switch Lite, you can fit that in your pocket. That's the difference, right? That's what it's marketed for. Again, this is an option. Nintendo actually, a few hours after announcing the OLED model, they actually even tweeted out, and I think because they wanted to, you know, subtly clarify that this is not an upgrade, it's an option. They tweeted the following out. They said, Nintendo Switch OLED model offers another option for you to choose how you want to play the platform's vast library of games. And they posted a picture that shows all three models. You got the normal Nintendo Switch, the OLED model, and the Nintendo Switch Lite. Again, it's an option within the lineup of Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo Switch family. You know, it's like, you know, same thing if you look at Xbox. You have the Xbox Series X and you have the Series S. There's one that's at a cheaper price point. It's all digital. You still get a pretty powerful console. Not as powerful. It's just another option. You go back to the PS Vita days. You had the OLED version that came out first. They eventually came out with, what was it, like LED or LCD one or whatever, which was a little bit cheaper because, you know, obviously OLED is, like I said, more expensive. So it's at a cheaper price point, had a little bit of a better battery. Those are two different options in the PS Vita lineup. We have, like I said, the whole 3DS family we can look at. There were just a bunch of different options. This is just what Nintendo does, man. Just what companies sometimes do. This is not the same thing as like, you know, when we had the PS4 and then it came out with the PS4 Pro, it was like a mid-gen upgrade, or, you know, the Xbox One X, right? That was a mid-gen upgrade. That's not what this is. We might see that, right? That's kind of what the new 3DS technically was, right? Technically speaking, it was a little bit more of that, you know, as far as Nintendo goes. But that's not what this is. We might, like I said, Nintendo wants to extend the life of the Nintendo Switch. They want to, you know, they want to kind of they want to support it for quite some time, a little bit longer than previous generations. And so we could still see in like a year or two another option. Maybe we're going to get a fourth option and it's going to be a quote unquote Pro, an actually upgraded model. But for now, the OLED model is not that. Now, you might be bummed out that, you know, we're not getting an upgraded version, at least as of this time. But you can't be mad at the OLED version. First of all, you can't even be mad at Nintendo. They didn't say anything about this console. Like, they didn't even say a word. They didn't hint at it. They didn't do nothing. Okay, this was all rumors. This was all leaks. That's all it was until yesterday. At the time of recording this, it was yesterday, when Nintendo officially announced it. That was the first time they ever spoke about this at all. So you can't even be mad at Nintendo, right? All they're doing is they're coming out. They're like, hey, here's a new Switch. It's an OLED model. There's a couple other enhancements. It's not really an upgrade. It's just another option in the Nintendo Switch family. If you want to get it, cool. You know, if not, you know, there's other options. There's the Nintendo Switch Lite. Maybe that's more your thing. Maybe you want to play docks. So there's the normal Nintendo Switch, $50 cheaper than the OLED. There's options, and I think that's good. I think it's good to give the players and the fan base options. You know, for hardcore fans, they're probably going to go ahead and buy the OLED version anyways. You know, whether you sell your current Switch to be able to get the OLED version or not, that's up to you. Maybe if you're new to the Switch family and you think, oh, OLED's cool for $50 more. All right, sure. You know, a few extra enhancements. Okay. Maybe that's worth it for you. You know what I mean? It's just an option. That's all it is. Nothing to get crazy about. Nothing to flip out. Nothing to get angry about. You know, yes, anyone would have loved to see, you know, maybe a more powerful console, but at the end of the day, excuse me, the Nintendo Switch is doing very well for itself. It's all about the experience and the fun with Nintendo. They don't need the most powerful hardware. They really don't. They don't need that. And they're doing fine. They're doing fine. So I don't know. That's kind of my rant for now. Let me know what you guys think. I just wanted to kind of go over that really quick. I know this is kind of a lengthy video, but there's a lot to say. So anyways, let me know if you agree or disagree. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you didn't like it, dislike it. Subscribe if you guys new, do a variety of Nintendo-based content. We're going to be streaming Skyward Sword HD here soon when it comes out in just a week or two now. Really pumped about that one. And let me know if you guys are going to get the OLED model or not. And if so, here's the big question. The white or the neon? Let me know which one you guys are going to get if you guys are planning to get it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon in another one. And until then, game on.